if you're in your 50s or even in your 60s, you're not broken. Your body might be a little bit creaky here and there. All right, so I turned 53 this year, and I don't care what anybody says, it definitely messes with your head a little bit. Yeah, my body, yeah, it's been beaten up over the years a little bit, but it's not fully broken. We just have to do things a little bit differently. And I realized this by looking at this channel that I started 13 years ago when I was in my 40s. And one of the reasons why I started the channel was as an accountability partner so I could stay consistent and also look back and see my results. So now, looking back at myself 13 years ago and what I was able to accomplish in my 40s, am I still able to do that in my 50s? And I think that we can. I think that just because we turned 50 doesn't mean that we can't still be in great shape, that we can't still eat the things that we want to eat. Although there are some rules that have been changed. And right now, I am going through that phase of life where I'm like, okay, I want to be in shape, not just because I want to be ripped, but because I want to be able to do things that I could do in my 40s or even in my 30s. I could play pickleball with my son who's 27, who's really athletic. I can still lift weights. I can still do push-ups. I can still do sit-ups. I can still get down on the floor with my grandkids now. The one thing I will say is I have people that I hear that are getting older, that are getting, in their 50s and 60s, and I hear them say, it's just part of getting older. I can't stand hearing that because I refuse to live up to that. I want to actually show that I could be in my 70s and still be super active and not blowing my back out and being able to still work out 3 to 4 days a week, still taking long walks, still being able to walk up hills. I think that if you surround yourself with those people, the negative people that can also make you negative, or same works if you hang out with positive people. So part of this channel for me now, as I'm in my 50s, is to post videos that are going to help others that are similar, but also connect with a community of people that are like-minded. And that's what I want to do here. I want this channel to be that. And today is the day that I'm going to make that happen for this channel. And that's why I'm sitting here in my 1973 Mustang. I'm, 1972, so 73. It's real close to how old I am. And this thing's still doing pretty good. Yeah, it might have a few extra creaks, but it's still running pretty darn strong. I put in the right gas. I changed the oil. It's the same thing we have to think about with our health and fitness. At least that's what I'm going to be focusing on here, moving into the future of my next chapter. And that's what I like to look at it as like, is this your next chapter? Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. And I'm going to be 100% honest. There's things that I need to do differently now in my workouts that I need to pay attention to. Because if not, I'm going to hurt my back or I'm going to tweak my neck. So there are some things that I have to do differently. I also need to check my ego at the door. Years ago, I used to say to myself internally, oh my gosh, I got to lift more because so-and-so is lifting more. Those days are gone. Now it's all about being smarter, but also listening to your body. And for me, it's all about, can I stay consistent? Can I stay healthy? And can I do it without creating injury for my body? And one way that I'm doing that is just lower weight, slower reps, doing more body weight exercises, even doing just air squats. I mean, as simple as they are, they're super, super effective. And I never realized that. No weight, nothing. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And that's what I want this channel to be about. Is like, how can we do it in our 50s without needing to be like following the gurus of getting, your six-pack abs back and all of that stuff? I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that's not the main focus. Main focus for me and maybe for you, let me know in the comments, is to just be stronger, to be able to maintain activity moving into my senior years, as crazy as that sounds. And really, yeah, I do want to look good at my age. Who doesn't? But that's not the primary reason. I know when we were in our 20s it was, but it's not anymore. But I would love, as a little challenge for myself, is to try to get into as good a shape as I was in my 40s, which was just 10, 12 years ago. Well, 13 years ago now. And so that's a little internal goal I have for myself. But the primary thing is how can I stay in shape and stay active and do it injury free? That's the key takeaway there. So I just want you to know, if you're in your 50s or even in your 60s, you're not broken. Your body might be a little bit creaky here and there. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing, listen to your body, and also take care of this thing, because this thing here drives everything.